The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
I've been waiting all day for Wednesday night.
Beautiful. We're going to get a copyright strike for that.
No, we're not, because we didn't use actual Carrie Underwood. Well, anyway, folks, sorry we're late, but welcome to another edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the hosts, and to my right is a man who's been in deep mourning all day because the 16-game winning streak of the Edmonton Oilers. Rest in peace, Dustin Henry. Dustin.
But you know what? I am mourning about that. And as you can see, I decided not to get my hair cut until the Oilers lose. So now I guess I can get it. I can get it cut here because
that's what you're going with, huh?
yeah. Other than my just pure laziness and hectic life lately, it's the Oilers, 100%. I am mourning about that, but there's a part of me, they needed to lose because when we talked about it on one of our famous Saturday brunch episodes, you brought up the Penguins that had that winning streak and then did not win the Stanley Cup, and I was just worried. I said it doesn't bode well, because they're hot at the wrong time. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise, or in the skies, as some people like to say.
Ooh.
But happy to be here tonight, ready to talk. I missed the weekend show, but life interferes sometimes. But you guys had a great discussion, you and Kevin and Staniel. So it was great. I tuned in, but I'm ready to go. When life gets a little crazy, this is always one of the bright spots. So we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. It's been an up and down week. Good news is my mom's home from.
Well, that is very good news, and congratulations. And if you're watching, hello.
Hi, Mom. Love you. Oh, I guess Dad too. Last night I went to Proctor's Theater, went to see Dr. Jordan Peterson live. That was good. It was good. It was a good time. So I'll tell you more about that in the green room after this. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's show, we just want to remind you about our social media channels right down here below: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ, YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. You can also, if you're catching this on the replay on Rumble and on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, we welcome you. We also want to welcome you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media channels and to our YouTube channel especially. We're at 347 subscribers currently, trying to get to that magic tree 50. So we have our tree 150 celebration. Either case, rest in peace. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcast form you prefer, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, the soon-to-be departed Google Play, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. Please leave a 5-star rating. If you're on a platform where you can review, please leave us a review. We might even read it on the air. And because this is currently a live show, but also if you're on Rumble, watching replay on Rumble or anywhere, whether it be this channel, Belly Up Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, live or replay, we want your comments. Engage with the show. We want your comments. And this sound always picks me up when I'm feeling down. So I'm going to play that magical sound. That's right, folks. Engage with the show. Leave a comment in the comment section, or if you're watching live, leave a comment in the live chat. In the chat, we've already got Wonka the Sane checking in. Before the show went live, he said, "Finally, geez, fellas, I've been waiting in this chat for 24 hours straight." Yes, we like to call our winning section Tent City.
Well, we're happy to have you here, Wonko, as always.
All right, so we're gonna get things started. We'll talk about the as mentioned as you may have seen in the card on the YouTube channel or on Facebook. We're going to do some NFL news tonight. We're talking about some NFL news tonight, and I want to give the floor to Dustin because last week the Seattle Seahawks hired Mike MacDonald as their new head coach, and you may have seen his comments in the comment section on the Saturday brunch. But I want to give him the opportunity to have the floor for a couple of minutes to talk about his reaction to the hiring and what he thinks of the move. So, Dustin, I'm going to hand the floor over to you for a couple minutes. Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, I will say, and you're right. I apologize to everyone that I didn't get to express my thoughts on Saturday. But initially, we as humans, well, most of us, and I think me more than some, we don't like change, right? And Pete Carroll was an institution in Seattle for 14 years, and he is, I think, unquestionably the greatest coach in Seahawks history. And I believe it was Wonko who said he will have a statue outside of, no matter what happens, there will be a statue. And I agree with that. There will be a statue of Pete Carroll outside of CenturyLink Field. But I was skeptical of the Mike MacDonald hiring initially, probably because, as I discussed when Pete Carroll was let go, call it what it is, it was a firing. He wanted to be the head coach of this team for at least one more year.
Or as the NWO says, for life.
Yeah. Now, I was a little skeptical of the Mike MacDonald hiring because at first, to me, it felt like we're going to go from the oldest coach in the NFL to the youngest coach of the NFL. It felt like, let's do the opposite, despite the fact that they said they wanted to keep the culture that Pete Carroll had helped build there. It was very much, it felt like my first reaction was, oh, they just did the opposite. They went in a total different direction than they could have gone. But then I watched Mike MacDonald's opening press conference, and I kind of educated myself on Mr. MacDonald a little bit. And now I would color myself cautiously optimistic about the Mike MacDonald hire because, and I can't give credit, I can't take credit for what I'm about to say, but it was some other analyst who said, and I have to tip my cap to them, even though I cannot remember who it was. They said, the Seahawks could have gone two directions. They could have hired an offensive mind to compete with the likes of Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and Jonathan Gannon in Arizona. I'm not going to sleep on them. I think they're an up-and-coming team in some respects. So he said that they could have hired a offensive-minded coach and just tried to get into shootouts with McVay and Shanahan and keep up with them. But they kind of zagged, and they hired a defensive-minded coach whose task is going to be stopping them. So I kind of, after hearing that, I said, you know what? That's a good point. They went in a different direction because it would have been entertaining to watch the shootouts, but those games are tough to win, especially against experienced coaches and offensive masterminds, one of which we're about to see in the Super Bowl, and the other, Sean McVay. I mean, he's done a wonderful job coaching the Rams, and he's kind of had Pete Carroll's number the last couple of years. So then I started thinking about this in a new light, and I started researching. And one of the things I found is that Mike MacDonald is the one, per some of the players on the current team, Mike MacDonald is the one that instituted the defensive scheme that just won Michigan the national title. We saw what he did in Baltimore. And apparently, John Schneider in the opening press conference, one of the things he said is this guy is young. He's 36 years old, and we know a lot of the same people. And everybody that I called was raving about this guy. And he said, and I looked in his eyes, and I just said, this guy's on it. He's there. He's ready to go. And Mike MacDonald talked about that after they walked into the facility for the first time, and everybody was applauding. They went up and they started talking about staffing and scheme right away. So I also like the addition of Leslie Frazier as assistant head coach, basically, is what I've heard. And I think Leslie, I think, is close to 70 himself. So it's going to kind of he's going to bring some experience. Although, everybody talked about Pete Carroll's supposed advisor role with the team. This, to me, puts that to bed. So I don't know. There's a lot going on with that. But what I do think they need to do is they need to prioritize offense. And what I will say is I am not happy. I believe they hired somebody for special teams. I think it was somebody related to the Harbaughs. Somebody is going to be the special team coach. I cannot remember it. The name is escaping me. But that person basically followed Mike MacDonald from Baltimore, if memory serves. But it is rumored, and I have to say rumored. I can't verify this. The Seahawks are interviewing Chip Kelly for their offensive coordinator position, and I will not be happy if that happens. I will not be happy because with Mike MacDonald, a defensive-minded coach who has said that he's going to call the plays, at least he's going to call the defensive plays to start, and then eventually it will transition to a defensive coordinator. They need to prioritize offense, though, because with the exception of the Seahawks drafting Russell Wilson, I felt like Pete Carroll never really prioritized offense, but the running back position he always prioritized. But the quarterback position, if you look at the other quarterbacks of the Pete Carroll era, aside from Russell Wilson, it is not exactly, no shade to Geno, but Geno is not a superstar in this league. He's not a bell cow quarterback that everybody wants. And before that, it was Tavares Jackson. Tavares Jackson, in between Hasselbeck and Russell Wilson, was Tavares Jackson. They offered a contract to Matt Flynn, who had one great game as a Packer and parlayed it into a bunch of money. Hats off to Matt Flynn. And lest we forget, right after Matt Hasselbeck retired, we had old Charlie Whitehurst in there, which, I used to call him Jesus Nazareth as a joke because he looked, but
that hair, man, that flow is just
yeah. So I think they need to bring in an offensive coordinator that really knows, and can kind of. I hope they prioritize the quarterback position. I know they've got to make a decision on Geno. And Mike MacDonald did say that he wanted to build an offensive system around the quarterback. He said the quarterback is the most important position in the league. He wants to build an offensive system around them. So I hope that they prioritize offense, specifically the quarterback position, a little bit more. They've got to make that decision with Geno. I mean, right now he was very complimentary of Geno, but we'll see what happens. But cautiously optimistic I am.
Okay. All right. Okay, I got you. So I did look up the current staff of the Seattle Seahawks because we do real-time research on this program.
Yeah.
Trademark 2024. No questions required. And this is who they filled in. They filled in 4 spots so far. One was a holdover from Pete Carroll's staff. It's Carl Scott. He's going to hold the same position he had last year, which was the defensive passing game coordinator. They hired Jay Harbaugh as special teams coordinator.
That's what I was thinking of.
Which means, yeah, so he'll be a coach. He'll be a head coach probably the next 5 years, I reckon. Leslie Frazier, as you mentioned, as assistant head coach, and Kirk Olivadotti, who is expected to coach the linebackers. That's per the Seattle Times. per Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times, who is I believe he's the beat staff writer for the Seahawks for the Times. So
Yes.
yeah, those are the four coaching positions that are open. I reckon that if Seattle has their eye on somebody, they're gonna wait until the Super Bowl is done, because I think they might have their eye on. I'm just throwing spaghetti at a wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
But I reckon they're try to hire somebody from the 49ers or the Chiefs to come in and fill the offensive coordinator's role. I'm just speculating. Don't take my word for it. It's just pure speculation. Throwing stuff at the wall, see if it sticks.
It could be, you could be right though, because John Schneider did mention that he said, no offense, but I wanted, he goes, this is the Super Bowl I wanted. I wanted Baltimore to lose and I wanted Detroit to lose, because they were also interviewing Ben Johnson. But he has stayed with Detroit. And now there's there's been some speculation about maybe he didn't interview so well at some spots. So, I mean, who knows? But apparently they got the man that they wanted. It. John Schneider said it happened fast, but that's because when we first interviewed Mike, we knew we wanted a second interview, and we flew out to Baltimore, and then he said we flew him here, and then we just didn't let him leave the building. So,
yeah, it's a good thing. It's similar to what the Jets did with Bob Saleh, or Robert Saleh, big game Bob Saleh back in 2021 after they set Adam Gase adrift. So,
yes, which they needed to. They should have after that press conference. I know he catches a lot of heat for that, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's that was one moment in time, as the late great Whitney Houston sang in the 1998 Olympics. One moment in time. So we're going to talk about some key NFL assistant coaching hires, and one that comes to mind, and our buddy Drew Willingham, big Washington Commandskins football team fan, clearly, if you heard what I read on Saturday, I wish I could have read it in the full context, with F-bombs included.
Yeah.
But he was not a fan of the Redmanders Commandskins football team hiring one Daniel Quinn as the head coach of the team. Now, this week, they announced an additional hiring, and they decided to bring in former Arizona Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury to run their offense. Now,
get that air raid going.
Now, I hate to put my Alex Jones tinfoil hat on, but I'm gonna. Uh-oh, I killed Dustin. Last year, Cliff Kingsbury was the passing game coordinator for University of Southern California. And the quarterback of that University of Southern California was Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is projected to be one of the top picks in the draft this year. Now, I'm stroking my beard. For those of you who are listening, I'm currently stroking my beard. This lovely face mane I currently sport. And one has to wonder if he's available at number 2 in this year's NFL draft during the last weekend of April. Have we seen the Washington Redmanders Commandskins football team play their hand as to who they might be selecting second overall in this year's NFL draft?
I think that could very well be, because also, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Cliff Kingsbury all but have an agreement in place to join the Raiders for the same position? And then his agent came out and said, oh, he's not going to the Raiders. And then all of a sudden it was bam, he's going to the Commanders. So there might be something. They might have went to old Cliff and they said, hey, we're going to have the guy that you know very well,
I know one Raiders fan in the Capital Region who is not happy at all with Cliff Kingsbury I believe he might have put multiple hexes on him as a result of him spurring the Raiders. Let Jeff Levac shout out. Levac and guys, check him out. 3 to 5 every day at Fox Sports 980. By the way, associate producer.
Nice.
I'll tell you how I land that spot later. So yeah, there's at least one Raiders fan in the area who is putting a hex on one Clifford Aloysius Kingsbury for his, I don't know if it's his middle name.
I got to do some real-time research, because if you get that right, that will be the ultimate Encyclopedia Britannica moment.
No, it's Timothy. It's Timothy.
All right. You were faster on the draw. You were faster.
Yeah. So one Timothy Kingsbury, former New York Jets quarterback, by the way, jettisoned Las Vegas and decided to go to Washington instead. But yeah, I'm just putting my tinfoil hat on. I'm pretty sure that we've seen what Washington's going to do if he's available at number 2.
Well, and also
Caleb knows what the Bears are going to do number 1.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the other thing is, hasn't correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't Caleb Williams come out and kind of said that he doesn't want to play for the Bears? He doesn't want to play there if he's drafted. It's kind of a or maybe his camp. I can't remember, but I think I remember hearing that it's kind of like an Elway to Baltimore or Manning to San Diego.
No, actually, according to one NFL insider, this is I'm just going by a headline here on a video. I don't want to play. It says, why one NFL insider told Caleb Williams' camp that the Bears are a great team for him.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's.
Though.
I don't know though. I'm kind of wondering I also kind of wonder, and again, my tinfoil hat's going on. The beard stroke is happening.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Bears GM is going to try to say to Washington's GM, let's make a deal, and we're gonna pirate you for whatever draft picks you have.
Yeah.
So, we'll trade down to number 2 if you want number 1, but you're also going to have to pay extra.
Yeah, I mean, that is a thing too, because there have been rumors that the Bears are going to ship Justin Fields out of town. And say what you want about Mr. Fields, his first couple of years in the NFL haven't exactly lit everything on fire, but also in his defense, he's had a couple of changing schemes and they haven't been able to really protect him. And there's a few, I think Justin Fields, now he's going to do it differently. Our friend may not think that he is quarterbacky enough for her, but Justin Fields has shown moments of absolute brilliance in this. Yeah. And I think if given a chance and a little bit of time and protection and consistency, he could really do something. So you have to wonder if the Bears are going to hang on to him as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I wonder what's going through the head of Ryan Pace, the GM of the Bears right now. I mean, he pilfered the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
By swapping their by basically swapping number 1 picks and this year's pick for DJ Moore, because for some reason David Tepper said, I want Bryce Young as my quarterback.
Yeah.
And well, you got what you got, and CJ Stroud was Frank Reich wanted CJ Stroud.
Yes. That was the rumored divisiveness, is that Frank Reich was campaigning hard for CJ Stroud, and the owner just said, Yeah.
And the owner, well, let's see. Well, you saw how that turned out, but I think I have to wonder if the fortunes would have been reversed if CJ Stroud went 1 and CJ Stroud went 1 and Bryce Young went 2. And to see if Bryce Young had the same success in Houston as CJ Stroud did. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
That's another dimension. That's another timeline to explore, another date, but it is what it is.
That's
the
something
Panthers.
for phase 2 of the no credentials verse. We're in phase 1 right now.
We're in phase 1. Phase 2.
We're on the horn with Kevin Feige to get him to produce our movies. All right.
Wow. As long as it's not the DC universe. God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes.
R.I.P. to the DCEU.
No, more like DC. Ew.
Yeah.
But one other another assistant coach hire we kind of want to look out for. It came out today, and I kind of did a double take when I saw it. But apparently, former New York Jets and Buffalo Bills head coach Rex Ryan interviewed with the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now his brother Rob was there as the D coordinator for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But Rex, give me Rex over Rob of the two Ryan brothers. I'm sorry, but I never understood the hype around Rob Ryan. Rex at least backed it up all those years with being the D coordinator in Baltimore, and he also can't argue with his defensive acumen in the years with the New York Jets. But Rob, I never understood the hype behind Rob. His defenses never performed well to my memory. But that would be a big personality. So that he interviewed with the Cowboys, or are they going to make the move?
No, he interviewed with them.
Oh man,
I saw it on the social medias this morning.
That's a big personality in Dallas if he goes there.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Rex Ryan, for the teams he had in Gotham and in Buffalo, their defenses were really good.
Mm-hmm.
They had really good defenses. Unfortunately, the offenses didn't really exactly pair well. Hello, EJ Manuel, anyone?
Yeah,
anyone? Or Tyrod Taylor, Ryan
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick, both. Well, actually, who's there for Todd Bowles, not for.
Oh
not
yeah,
for Rex Ryan when he was with the Jets, but he was with the Bills for, I believe, the Rex Ryan years. But he's not a bad coordinator. He puts together very, very effective defensive game plans, just like his old man did. Buddy Ryan, rest in peace. But he's not a bad. I don't think it would be a bad move if Dallas picked him up.
No, I don't think so. And I think, I don't know, he would fit the kind of image of that team a little bit, because Jerry Jones is not going to get on somebody for saying the wrong thing in the media. He's not going to like Belichick him and be like, "Oh, we can't be talking." That's not going to be the way it would go. So Rex Ryan would allow all that personality to come out. I still remember his when they did the Jets did Hard Knocks, and it was his years, and he's like giving the team a speech, and then he's like, "Now let's go get a." He goes, "Let's go
get a GD snack."
Yeah. Oh man,
I love that. I need to find that clip and play it.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to do it. I have to do it. If the Cowboys hire him, they're hoping that their defense will be a step ahead of the rest. I had to get a foot joke in there. I had to.
Well, so did your uncle. He said, "Hope Rex doesn't put his foot in his mouth or his wife's."
To it, yeah. Can you imagine? He goes, "Jerry, before we make this thing official, take off your shoe."
Oh well, I wonder if his wife would get a Dak Prescott tattoo.
Yeah, maybe.
Allegedly she has a Mark Sanchez. Either her or Rex has a Mark Sanchez tattoo somewhere.
Oh man, the Sanchez.
Oh man, what could have been? What could have been?
Yeah.
So one key assistant who's not currently employed is one that is very notable, and I kind of wonder why. Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is looking for a job. He was an offensive. I think he was the associate head coach with Washington last year.
Yeah,
he was the OC in Kansas City, and I kind of wonder what's going on there. Is it a case of? I wonder if it's just he's just being passed over for other OCs. Hey, Seattle's looking for an OC.
Yeah, I would.
Maybe that might
Are
work for
you
them.
kidding? I would love Eric Bieniemy coming in. It's a lot better than Chip Kelly. I just vomited. but but this is the one that baffles me the most. And I'd love to hear more of your thoughts on it, because to me, there were rumors that he maybe didn't interview the best, or has a personality that can rub some people the wrong way. And there's got to be some truth to it now, because Andy Reid endorsed him so many times and is saying this man should be a head coach, and he gets a ton of interviews. And in Washington, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the understanding that once Ron Rivera was no longer the coach, Eric Bieniemy was basically like next man up. Like they had tabbed him to be the head coach. And then as almost like 2 days after Dan Quinn is hired, he comes out and says Eric Bieniemy will not be retained. It was like so there's got to be some fire to this smoke. I don't know what it is.
I have to wonder if that move was made when Ron Rivera steps down, Eric Bieniemy is the head coach. I wonder if that happened before the full takeover of the Josh Harris ownership group. And they saw what happened this year, and they said, nope, we got to start from scratch. We got to blow it up, start from scratch.
Yeah.
Let's look for a new head coach. And they hired Dan Quinn, of all people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, another retread getting hired in the NFL. But rather than bringing Eric Bieniemy back. But, I don't know. It could be the fact that he might have an abrasive personality. I don't know. I haven't heard any reports to the contrary from players, any testimonies from players, from other coaches. Haven't heard the fact that he doesn't interview well. Look, I'll be honest. When I go up for a job interview, I'm not the best interview either.
Oh yeah, no way.
None of us are. When you're trying to interview for a very important position or a promotion, it's if you come off as nervous, make a different impression of you.
Yeah. And I am a nervous interviewer. I haven't had to do it much, but I definitely am a nervous interviewer. And candidly, I've had to step into some new roles at my job. And guess what? I don't excel at all of them. I do okay at some, but I don't excel at all of them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I have to wonder if he's going to get a I think he'll land on his feet somewhere.
Yes.
He'll land on his feet somewhere. And what would be really funny? I would say funny, but really interesting if he lands back at his alma mater of University of Colorado. Mm-hmm. He won a natty there, and I'm sure Coach Prime would love to have another NFL type, NFL type coach, because he's bringing in Warren Sapp as a defensive coach next year. He's going to bring in Warren Sapp as his defensive line coach next year. If he brings in Eric Bieniemy to run that offense in some shape or form, or be an associate head coach, you're Colorado Buffaloes, Dustin. You're Colorado Buffaloes. Could be going places next year when they go back to the Big 12.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, and also, not only does Seattle have an opening at OC, which, Eric, we'd love to have you in the Pacific Northwest. Let me speak as a representative of the team. But I will say, what if he went to the Raiders? Recently spurned by Cliff Kingsbury, goes to the Raiders. He knows the Chiefs very well, obviously, from his time there. They're one of the chief divisional rivals. And it seems to me like a perfect marriage. Antonio Pierce, defensive-minded head coach, defensive guy, rounded that defense into form amidst the Josh McDaniels turmoil. And you bring in Eric Bieniemy to run that offense with some weapons, Aiden O'Connell, is he going to light the world on fire as quarterback? But he may not be their quarterback next year. Who knows? But you've got Devontae Adams. That may go a long way in having him stay, because I just read on the social media before the show that the Raiders have brought in Chad Johnson for a position And Antonio Pierce tweeted something to the effect of, I'm bringing in former NFL greats like number 85 to coach number 17, something like that. So that would be, you put Bieniemy in Vegas, I think you got something.
Well, provided Devontae Adams isn't traded to a team like, say, the New York Jets.
The New York
But I do
Jets.
have some breaking news for you, Dustin. I do have some breaking news.
All right.
The breaking news is that the Las Vegas Raiders did announce the hiring of an OC yesterday.
Yesterday.
Luke Getsy, Getsy, who was the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears for the last 2 seasons. So,
then
that just leaves that opening even more desirable for Eric Bieniemy to go to Seattle if he wants it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I apologize to everybody because I was not up on that. So I guess you can disregard all of what I just said. But that's why it's live.
Hey, you didn't know. I mean,
I did not know. Clearly, I did not know because I'm like putting together this soliloquy about what a perfect marriage Eric Bieniemy and Antonio Pierce would be.
Well, I don't have I don't have a sad trombone.
Yeah.
So I'll play this one instead.
Yeah. Oh, that definitely qualifies. Thank you, Homer.
All right. So we're gonna go to the comment section before we take our lone commercial break today. We got our friend Sap the Chicken Eating Sports Ball, and always with the pink hand emoji. Dr. Lady Esquire says Charlie Whitehurst was a Johnny Damon lookalike. Yes. Charlie Whitehurst was. That flow is like that. It rivaled like the hockey flow you see out there.
Yeah. But that's really all he had going for him.
Wonko says, if the Niners lose the Super Bowl, when would that formula work? In parentheses, superstars around a young, cheap, above-average quarterback, as opposed to the superstar quarterback mode. Mahomes, Allen, Buff, Burrow, Jackson, Stafford types. I don't know. It's a good question. But I think Shanahan and the rest of the staff believe in Brock Purdy that much that they want to keep him around for a long time. He basically has taken command of that offense, and he's got the respect of the rest of the team. So,
yeah, and I mean they believe in him clearly because they were able to. And I got to take my hat off to the 49ers for doing this because most teams would not. But they basically admitted, hey, we made a mistake drafting. I mean, I believe he was their first round pick, Trey
Lance.
Yeah, Trey Lance. And they basically said, oh, we got to trade him to the Cowboys because Brock Purdy did so well that they were basically like, we screwed this up. And they were willing to jettison a first round pick for a fourth round pick. It's not like they got a haul from the Cowboys for one Trey Lance. No.
And Trey Lance is a project quarterback, so we'll see what happens if and when Dak Prescott is injured next year. Your Uncle Al's asked a great question. He says, if is Justin Fields having the same start to his career as Alex Smith did?
That is an excellent question.
That's
because
an intriguing question.
Yeah, everybody. I remember you go back in the time machine with me, will you, to the 2004 NFL draft, and Alex Smith gets picked overall. Well, I think it was 2005. My apologies, but he gets picked first overall, and he goes to, I believe, Mike Nolan was the head coach of the 49ers at this time, and he did not have an auspicious start, and everybody and all the naysayers for Alex Smith, which I remember one of the biggest detractions against Alex Smith, according to analysts, they said, oh, his hands are too small. He can't grip the football. He's not going to be able to make the throws at the NFL level. And all of those people, because of the start that he had, were like, oh, see, look at this. But then he started to figure it out. And let's not forget, he was still the starter in KC while one Patrick Mahomes sat for a year and learned from Alex Smith until he was injured. And you have to wonder what could have been, because he was doing decent things in Washington as well prior to that horrific injury he suffered. So hats off to Uncle Al for that one. That's a good comparison.
He's continuing with the puns too. Sleeping with Bieniemy. The Bieniemy of my Bieniemy is my friend. Keep your friends closer and your Bieniemy's closer. Okay, that's enough, Al.
We'll see you Sunday.
We'll see you Sunday. And I'm bringing my chili, so I know you're a fan. Dr. Lady Esquire says, I'd like to meet someone who does interview well.
Yes.
She would know. She's a lawyer.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And, well, hence the Esquire at the end of the name.
And a doctor as well.
And a doctor. Hey, gotta keep two happy. It's that kind of economy. You have to have multiple jobs in this economy, you know? And Wonko says, love the thought of Bieniemy in Seattle. Bieniemy mine.
Yeah. Kelly, no. Bieniemy, yes. John, we know you're listening. We know you're listening. We know you're a big fan of the show. Coach Mike MacDonald, happy to have you aboard. Please don't hire Chip Kelly.
You already got swindled by Joe Douglas for that Jamal Adams trade, and then signing him to that huge extension, which you'll probably have to jettison him out in the spring. We'll see though. All right, so we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're talking about the streaming wars with this new venture that's coming out very soon. So take a quick commercial break. You are tuned in to No Credentials Required. Are you ready to elevate your sports betting experience? Look no further than DraftKings Sportsbook. Why choose DraftKings Sportsbook? Unmatched variety. Bet on your favorite sports leagues or discover new ones to follow. Live betting. Test your instincts and feel the adrenaline as you bet in real time while the game unfolds. Promotions and boosted odds. DraftKings keeps the excitement going with a range of promotions, odds boosts, and special offers. And a user-friendly interface. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or new to the game, DraftKings' intuitive platform makes placing bets a breeze. Ready to dive in? Belly Up Sports has partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook to give you an exclusive offer. Sign up at dkng.co/BellyUp150, and new customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet $5 or more. Don't miss out on this opportunity to take your love for sports to the next level. Sign up today and let the games begin. Please gamble responsibly. 21 years or older. Eligibility restrictions apply. See website for details. That's right, folks. The big game is on Sunday. That means there's prop bets, there's fun bets, like the prop bets, there's single game parlays, there's multiple touchdown, there's first touchdown bets. Do your sportsbook responsibly. But if you're in a state that allows sportsbook, we encourage you here at No Credentials Required to use DraftKings. And if you go to the link in our description, which that handsome man in the commercial voiceover mentioned, which is dkng.co/BellyUp150. New customers you put in a $5 deposit and you get up to $200 in bonus bets. So you can bet on first touchdown. You can bet on anytime touchdown score, money line, spreads, prop bets. Prop bets are the fun bets to do during big game time. So use the link in the description. Enter promo, and again, dkng.co/BellyUp150. You save 50%. You get every new customer gets puts down a $5 deposit. You get up to $200 in bonus bets. We encourage you to go do that today. And I might give some interesting. I know next to nothing about sportsbook. Although last night I did put a same game parlay for anytime score for Connor McDavid, which he got a goal.
There we
go. Unfortunately, I took Oilers on the puck line, and that did not work out. So it's my fault. It's my fault the Oilers lost last night. I'm so sorry. But yeah, if you want to earn a little bit of cash. And again, we encourage you to remember, bet responsibly. So nothing too big that you can't afford. Like don't put your mortgage on a single bet. Okay. Don't do that. That's irresponsible. But yes, use our link in the description, dkng.co/BellyUp150. So I discovered this yesterday. I was going through the social medias, and I happened to find that there is a new sports streaming venture that is coming very, very soon. The Wall Street Journal broke this yesterday. Both Joe Flint and Isabella Simonetti of the Wall Street Journal. I just saw the headline. I didn't read it because I think I need a paid subscription to read it.
Wow.
Speaking of
course.
lame subscriptions. But the title of this article was Fox, Warner Brothers Discovery, and Disney create new sports streaming venture, service to be available to ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Max subscribers. So I'll have to look this up. But basically, there are three networks basically coming together and saying, all right, we're going to combine forces. We're going to offer even more sports to our customers. So, for example, if you already have an ESPN Plus subscription or a Hulu subscription and you have ESPN Plus, you're going to miss out on some of the games, NHL games. If you're an NHL fan like me, you miss out on the Wednesday night games that TNT or TBS release airs.
Yeah.
So you miss those games. They also miss out on the Winter Classic because TNT and TBS, Turner Sports, Warner Brothers Discovery, I think they're the ones who are going to be airing the Winter Classic on January 1st for the next couple of years. They've aired the last couple seasons, including this season. And I guess they made the announcement NHL made the announcement the other day that the next Winter Classic is going to be back at Wrigley Field next season. And the Blackhawks take on the Blues at Wrigley Field. So that game will likely be on TNT or TBS. But Dustin, I want to get your thoughts on this. Got another sports streaming service. Is it worth it? We've already got so many services right now that are vying for your attention. I have multiple streaming services myself.
I do.
And that includes Hulu. I don't have ESPN Plus because right now because it's just too expensive. I mean, they keep jacking up the price every single year. And I got to wonder if the price of Max and ESPN Plus and Hulu will just go up exponentially again because they're offering this new sports streaming service. Is this combination just, are they trying to replace cable? What's going on here? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, that's the thing. I have often, and I get it, I'll take some heat for the house phone. It was part of the bundle, okay, when I signed up for Fios. I'm happy to have Fios where I am here. The internet.
If you want to leave a voicemail on the no credentials required voicemail line, call 5. Just kidding.
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it someday. Now, the thing is, though, I stuck with cable because I couldn't find a sports package. I wanted to cut the cord. Years ago to save money. But the thing that kept me with cable was sports because, there were so many, like Hulu had some sports, but they didn't have everything. And then the big thing, PlayStation TV was the one that almost got me, but then that was defunct because they had.
I loved PlayStation TV. I loved PlayStation TV. That was a great service.
Yes, I was ready. I was ready to cut because they had the most complete package at the time, but then they folded. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to wait this out because YouTube TV, yes, it would have been cheaper than my cable package, but by the time you started putting on the sports add-ons, the difference ended up, to my crappy math, I'm not a great math person, was like negligible. And now I see that that's what everybody's like, streaming is going to kill cable. No, it's not, because now they're just making streaming into cable. That's what they're doing. It's basically, remember years ago, well, you grew up, you're from the same area I am. So remember when Time Warner at the time, they offered the package where, pick these channels. Instead of picking one of our like 3 packages, pick these channels, and that's what you get, and you pay a rate. That's what streaming is now. You're picking what you want to watch, and people will do it, and I don't blame them at all.
Yeah,
like back when HBO,
it's basically a la carte. It's basically a la carte TV.
Yeah, and now, to your point, they're going to jack the prices up and because they're going to have to try to, and it's just going to be. I mean, I'm probably just going to end up keeping cable because there's too many streaming services now, and you already can't. I love watching TV. All right, I realize I should be reading more. It's something that I want to try to change in the new year. But I love watching TV, and I have made the joke many times that I will be dead long before I get through everything on my Netflix queue, and that's just one service. And I have multiples. I have Prime, I have Hulu, I have Disney Plus. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, we had cable for as long as we had cable. You had the channels you got, all the way up to Nickelodeon, and that's it. That was pretty much it. Then we got
33.
Nickelodeon was channel 33, baby. Yeah. And then as we got into the 90s and television became more segmented, and I think it was all over for sports. Not all over, but I would say it's when ESPN made its second network, ESPN2.
Yeah.
That's when things started to ramp up because ESPN2 is basically the NHL network before the NHL network was a thing. Because that's where ESPN put all their NHL games. They said, "All right, we don't have enough. We can't give enough attention to the NHL on a regular network because we're also broadcasting baseball. We're broadcasting the NFL from I think weeks 9 through 16 or 17 back in the day because back in the day TNT and ESPN split Sunday Night Football.
Oh, I had forgotten about that.
Yeah.
And wasn't there like Thursday Night Football on like TNT or ESPN, one of them? Because I remember way back in like 2001, there was a game, and I will remember this. This is where I like borderline. I can remember certain things like crazy. There was a game, and Ricky Waters was the running back for the Seahawks, and he went down and he was injured and he was tearing it up. And Sean Alexander went in and just he blew the fuse off, and it was against the Raiders. And I was like, who's this Sean Alexander guy? He's awesome.
Look, I'm old enough to remember there being a Friday night game during the NFL season. And I believe it was a Friday night game. It was between Denver and Seattle. That was back in like the 1980s.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, when ESPN2 hit, that's when the cable landscape. That's when the cable landscape started to change. Period, because you got more segmented networks like Discovery. I loved Discovery Channel when I was a kid. Shark Week. Shark Week was my jam for 1 week during the summer every year. Not so much anymore, but you started segmenting networks, and you got the home shopping channels. Then you got HGTV, the Food Network,
History Channel.
History Channel, learning the TLC, which was supposed to be the learning channel, but now it's just absolute garbage. Reality shows.
Yeah.
My 600-pound life. Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry for you. Hey, I'm chubby too. Give me a break. But then you started getting into the era of cable internet with what used to be Roadrunner. Now it's just Spectrum cable. Used to be Roadrunner that Time Warner Cable used to offer. High-speed internet. You get high-speed internet, then YouTube comes along, then you start to get streaming services. Netflix, you could originally, I remember when originally you rented DVDs.
Oh yeah.
You rented out DVDs, and then they changed to streaming, which I used to stream on my Nintendo Wii.
That was my first streaming platform as well, Nintendo Wii. We would like to play. And do you remember, Ryan, you had to put a disc in the Wii to make it stream. You got a special disc from Netflix.
And then we started getting a little bit more ridiculous with the streaming services. Peacock comes along. That was the first real network. I mean, actually, Hulu. You could say Hulu was the foray with broadcasting repeats of television shows instead of having to go to the DVR on your cable box. You can just follow the show on Hulu, and it's on streaming. Then it went to Then you got Peacock. Then you got Paramount Plus, and all of a sudden you get all these services. Hey, cut the cable; it'll save you so much money.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
but then you get subscription after subscription after subscription, and it starts to add up. And now we're getting to this era. We're going to this era now where Hulu, Warner Brothers, Fox, Warner Brothers, Disney, they're combining forces, and now they're going to speed. And I guess reading the very limited reading on the article that I found, and apparently every sports league was kept in the dark until the Wall Street Journal broke this story yesterday. So they
Wow.
didn't know this was going to happen, and I would be pissed if I was a commissioner of a sports league right now. And apparently what they're trying to do is that they're trying to the both between both services, they're trying to uplift pro basketball and football. And now with college football being the way it is, with the Big Ten and the SEC combining forces, they're going to take on the NCAA. And I think they're going to win because I think they're sick of what the NCAA is doing. Now we've got NIL. Now we've got so many teams jumping to those two leagues that they're right now, I believe Peacock shows mostly the Big Ten. I think starting this season, the SEC is going to be primarily on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
And I think college football on CBS is going to show games here and there. They still have the Army-Navy game. They're going to have the Army-Navy game for forever. But I think this goes to show that not only cutting the cord isn't really worth it. It might not be worth it in the long run, but you've got so many companies trying to get your attention to spend your hard-earned dollar on their services. And if Hulu increases the price, if Max increases the price, because I guess with Max you can add tiers.
Yeah, there's multiple tiers
you can add on.
Which that is coming to Amazon Prime now too. There's an ad tier and an ad-free tier. And more of them are gonna do that. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually Netflix gets there. It's been rumored.
Yeah. Well, I recently had to add on the ad-free option on Amazon Prime. They switched over to ads, and you pay an extra $3 a month if you want to have ad-free services. And it's a bummer, but this is where we are now. This is where we are now, and eventually the consumer is going to talk back. Eventually the consumer is going to talk back. And I think with this new sports streaming service, if these companies increase the price and they do it in such a way that it's going to break somebody's budget, customers are going to talk with the customers always vote with their dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And they will cut their subscription and either go somewhere else or they'll go back to cable.
Yeah. Because
it just might not be worth it to have all these subscriptions. And they keep jacking up the price while the cable package. Well, cable. I haven't had cable TV in a while.
Mm-hmm.
My last Spectrum subscription was in 2013, 2014, and I didn't need the box. I can just stream on my Roku because Spectrum has an app on Roku which you could use.
Mm-hmm.
So either way, the consumer is kind of screwed.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think what you hit the nail on the head is that let's say you're the most avid sports fan in the world and you watch everything, right? Then you've got to have every streaming service because, guess what? You know what I forgot? Apple TV has a deal where like they have Friday night baseball games. So they have certain games, and Amazon Prime's got Yankee games every once in a while. I can't remember but they have some kind of deal.
Friday nights, unless it's on Apple TV. Amazon Prime, I think it also might depend on your locale.
Yeah,
like we get Yankee games.
Yeah, we do. We get the Yankee games on Prime, and then you've got this person has we have some NBA games, but not all of them, and we've got them over here, and it just is. So then you as a sports fan are left scrambling. Like if you want to catch everything, And the other option for me, and I always thought these were prohibitively expensive, even though I always wanted them. But prior to Red Zone, I love Red Zone, which now NFL Plus is its own thing. You can get that.
You can get that on NFL Plus, yeah.
But I used to think there's no way I would get the center ice package or the NBA League Pass or the NFL, whatever the equivalent was. But
Sunday ticket.
Yeah, but Sunday ticket on DirecTV all those years. But it's going to be like that, because by the time you end up getting all these streaming services to try to catch all the sports that you want to get, you may as well just pay the premium price. If you're that much of a fan, pay for the league pass, because guess what? You can get any NBA game you want. Pay for MLB extra innings, because you can get any game you want. Pay for center ice, because you can get any game you want. It's just crazy.
Now, here's my question. The one thing that has driven me nuts with these leagues is their blackout restrictions.
Yeah.
They drive me up a wall. So if you get, for example, you get MLB, the league pass every year, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but you get
MLB
it was
extra innings, but I don't know.
Extra innings, yes, thank you. Yeah, extra innings. You get MLB extra innings. You are blacked out from watching Yankees games and Mets games if you live in this area, because they're the rights holders to this particular area. If you want me to pay for look, if Max or Bleacher Report Sports, BR Sports, which is their primary service, because that's who Warner Brothers Discovery owns Bleacher Report. If you want me to add your service, or if Hulu wants me to upgrade ESPN to ESPN Plus, you need to convince those leagues to lift their blackout restrictions, because I will not pay 1 cent, just so I can't, for example, I can't watch certain New Jersey Devils games because we have a Fubo subscription, so we share. My dad has a Fubo subscription, so he shares the sign on with and profiles with his kids.
Yeah.
Primarily my sister and myself. I can't watch certain New Jersey Devils games because they'll have either the Knicks, the Rangers, the Islanders, or the Sabres.
Sabres, yep. I was going to say Sabres
of my New Jersey Devils. And if I try to go to ESPN Plus and watch the game, you're in an area that has blackout restrictions. And whenever I go to customer service for ESPN Plus and say, "Hey, I'm paying extra amount of dollars per month. I want to watch my New Jersey Devils. That's my favorite team." Their solution is, just get a VPN. Just get a VPN and set it to a different local area, and you should be able to watch the game on there. No, I'm not getting a VPN, because I live in basically the same viewing area as Rangers fans and Sabres fans and Islanders fans. I should be able to watch a New Jersey Devils game with no blackout restrictions whatsoever, because I'm technically in a Sabres or Rangers market. And as your Uncle Al has astutely said, you want pirates? This is how you get pirates.
Yep, of course. People will find the means.
Yeah, exactly. And Dr. Lady Esquire says blackout restrictions are because the team wants you to go to the game in person. We live 3.5 hours north of Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, MetLife Stadium, Madison Square Garden, UBS Arena, Barclays Center, and the Prudential Center. It's expensive to go to those games. Look, I went last month with one of my buddies to a New Jersey Devils games. We watched the Devils play Connor Bedard for 3 shifts.
Yeah.
in the Chicago Blackhawks. That ticket alone. The one ticket alone was $105.
Yeah.
Plus I'm paying for gas. Plus I'm paying for tolls. Plus I'm paying for dinner and drinks before the game. Plus I'm paying for beers at the game.
Yeah.
$15 for a beer at Prudential Center.
Oh,
Gee
yeah.
whiz.
Yeah.
That's easily a $150 to $200 night and we drove back the same day. So if you expect me, if you're gonna black out to make me go to a game in person, pay for part of my ticket. Give me a reason to go. Give me a reason to drive 3.5 hours to your arena to go to a game. Give me an incentive to go.
Yeah, and I mean, we love right. Everybody loves going to see. Well, I won't say everybody, but I love going to see live sports every once in a while. But you just laid out why it's cost prohibitive, and especially in certain times. And the thing is, forget trying to do that as a family of 4. You know, you go down and you want to take your kids to a game. You got to, it's crazy. Not people can't do that sometimes. That's why, honestly, one of my favorite things to do is go to the Valley Cats games around here, because they're reasonably priced, and it's a good baseball game, and you can still, take the kids to the ballpark, and you're not going to break the bank, and they get to see a game, and there's fireworks after. So that's how support the minor league teams sometimes, because
exactly.
And local teams.
That's why we always say on this program, go support your local teams. I mean, am I going to pay and this is with Ticketmaster fees or SeatGeek or whatever, SeatGeek.com use promo code BellyUpSports for your first order, $20 off, $50 or more. But the cheapest seats at the Devils for Devils game, and it's going to depend on who they play. If they play a division rival like Philadelphia, the Rangers, the Islanders, it's going to cost you more. For the seats that we got when we went down New Year's Eve 2021, those were, at the time, I believe they were $75 each. Yeah. For my game last month for the Blackhawks, it was $105 for that same section.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to the lower bowl, it's going to cost me almost $200 for a ticket to go to a game.
Yeah.
Now, look at half an hour north of where I am in Glens Falls, the Adirondack Thunder, $25.
Yeah.
$25 to go to get inside and watch what is actually a very good team this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing that sucks about all these streaming services and possibly checking up the price with the blackout fee and with the blackout restrictions, because they want me to go see a game, I can't go see a game if I'm getting charged a certain amount of money for streaming service when I can't watch the game, period, because you've blacked out the game in my area, or MSG's not showing the game, period.
Yeah.
So
and it's also, it's so funny that we are considered a Sabres market, because even there's times where, let's say the Oilers are playing the Devils. I'm like, sweet, I get to watch an Oilers game, and it's not at an ungodly hour. So I go to MSG Plus, and the Sabres are on. I'm like, okay. So then I go to MSG, and the Rangers are on. I'm like, okay. And then I go to MSG whatever, and the Sabres are there, and I'm like, we're further from Buffalo than New Jersey.
I downloaded the MSG Plus app on my phone so I could try to watch a Devils game. Nope, same thing. It's either on a game night when either the Rangers or the Sabres are playing. I get one of those two. I don't get the New Jersey Devils, and apparently. And
what about if it's the Islanders and the Devils are playing? What do you get?
Either Islanders or Devils. I know tomorrow night the Devils are playing the Flames at home. They're going to be on one of the MSG networks. And I guess MSG, I read somewhere out to look into a little bit further. MSG and Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network, they're going to combine forces next year. I guess they're going to do some crossovers. So,
that's surprising.
But also, and you know what? Also, the app. You can get the app for and you can sign up for their services. You pay $100 a year, and you get all 162 Yankee games, provided they're not being featured on Fox Sports 1 or Apple, and you get all 82 New Jersey I want to go back to New Jersey.
Brooklyn Nets games. Yeah.
Plus, you get all the college games you want to, but it's like, to me, I'm kind of going a little bit tangent here with the New Jersey Devils because that's my team. Their broadcast rights with MSG ends at the end of this season. And I was hoping, I'm praying, there would be a bidding war between MSG, Yes Network, and Sports NY, SNY.
Okay, yeah.
Sports New York.
Yeah, because they've got the Mets, don't they? SNY, I think.
They have the Mets, yep.
Yeah.
They have the Mets. I'm surprised they haven't tried to buy for the broadcast rights for the Islanders.
Well, they should because
I know a long time ago the Yankee there was a sports company called Yankee Nets where it was basically George Steinbrenner owning a piece of the New Jersey Nets. They also owned a piece of the New Jersey Devils too. So I'm surprised when Yes came into Yes started a network that they didn't try to get the New Jersey Devils to come on their network. But we'll see.
I don't know. It's always funny because I always felt like, and it's not always like this, but it seems like a lot of people in New York, it's like Yankees, Rangers, Knicks, and then Mets, Jets, Islanders, and like Nets, or whatever. So
see, I'm the outlier.
Yeah.
Yankees, Jets, Devils.
Yeah. You're checking all the boxes there.
And I have no basketball affiliation. I'm a free agent. Although I am watching a little bit of the Knicks this year to see how they're doing because they're doing pretty well this year. They're third in the Eastern Conference. So
they are doing pretty well.
Although you will never catch me at a Madison Square Garden venue because Jimmy Dolan still owns that team. I'll never walk into MSG until he's in the ground.
Does this mean that I can safely say you will not be attending JD and the Straight Shot show that I bought us tickets for?
I'm not just sure. I'm positive. We're going to take one more quick visit to the comment section before we get out of here. Wonka the Sane saying, Eric to the Rams equals Bieniemy of the state of Washington. He's not going to the Rams. I guess Mike LaFleur is calling the plays down there. So, yeah, well, good for him. I guess he landed a job after he got fired from the Jets last year.
Yeah, but that's another
Dr. Lady Esquire, over under on how many times the camera will pan to Taylor Swift. I don't know if this is a prop bet on DraftKings, but I'm gonna say for the over under. I'm going to say the over-under I'm setting is 7. That's not including post-game or pre-game.
That's a strong number. And you know what? I don't really care. We see Taylor smiling and dancing in the box. Doesn't bother me. Let her support Killer Trav, I think that's his name on one of the socials. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if you heard about the psyop theory out there that some people are saying it's a psychological operation by the CIA that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are dating, and it's just a plot to get by Travis Kelce to get more people to get the shot, and Taylor Swift is wants people to vote for a certain presidential candidate. It's all over the place.
Was Jesse Ventura on those forums? I have the documents.
I had the documents. It's a psychological operation by the CIA for Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, and I had the documents that he's going to give us more shots, and Travis and Taylor Swift is going to make us vote for Joe Biden in the next presidential election. I had the documents, but I'm just asking questions. Folks.
I live in my undisclosed location in the Gulf of Tonkin, and I will
underground location.
I will be watching the game via satellite.
In this underground this undisclosed bunker in Minnesota somewhere. I won't tell you where. It's in one of the 10,000 lakes. Folks, I'm just asking questions, but I have documents. Your Uncle Al says Warner Brothers Discovery can eat a Richard. They're charging me 4 times what I paid last year for the same sports coverage.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, and that's why everybody said, "Oh, cutting the cords are going to be good," because the cable companies jack the prices up on you. So do streaming services, everybody.
So do streaming services.
So do they. And I will say, it's not as if Fios has jacked the price up on me a little bit, but they at least warn you in advance. The thing that I like about Fios is they're like, your bill will increase next month. Here's the amount it's going to increase, and here's why. And ever increasingly rare these days, but they'll say, your bill was a little cheaper this month. Here's why. You know?
I had the documents that Verizon Fios is checking up the prices on purpose to stay competitive with Spectrum. It's all part of the psychological operation to increase because of the increase of inflation. I'm just asking questions. Dr. Lady Esquire says, I had cable until last year. Civica bundle kind of works out when the pets aren't worth watching anymore.
See, you hit the nail on the head, Dr. Lady, the good doctor. That's why, because you don't have to worry about the sports as much anymore.
Nope. She's also an Angels fan, so her teams are not worth watching. That's for sure. Oh, and which we discussed on our Discord channel, which link in the description. Come join us on Discord.
Yeah, join us. The
now.
Discord channel is popping off a little bit, as the kids like to say.
Yeah, don't be a Richard in the Discord channel, by the way.
Yeah,
don't be a Richard. I'll have to drop the ban hammer. Wonko says, I only have Prime. Thursday Night Football. Hard to justify any sports package as a bar manager at Buffalo Wild Wings. Your Uncle Al says Max BR Sports add-on is at $100.
Whoa!
Rip off! Rip off! Dr. Lady Esquire says, I'm in Montana and I'm blacked out for Mariners games.
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense at all.
Oh my God.
What the flip?
Oh man.
Latina and Callie says, hello. Welcome to saying I'll give you the last word tonight. Thanks everyone. Happy hump day. Yes, happy hump day to you as well, sir. And join our Discord. Join our Discord, Wonko. You'll have some good sports discussions there. I've got a channel on the server. It's called Obscure Sports Quarterly. So anything like that's not covered on our channel, like I don't know, cricket, highlight, Karabati, which is basically Red Rover on steroids. Indoor lacrosse.
And we've got to give credit for Dr. Lady Esquire for coming up with that name, the Obscure Sports Quarterly.
Because I guess we're all dodgeball fans. So.
But there's been come on over. The water's nice and warm. There's been some MLB talk. There's been a little NFL talk. I fired up some stuff while I was supposed to be working. Don't tell anybody. But I'm not the fastest typer, so bear with me in there. If we really get going into a passionate debate, my responses are going to be delayed.
The water's fine. Just don't pee in it. And that's going to do it for another edition of No Crunchers Required. Just want to remind you about our social media channels down below: Twitter, Instagram, and now the now again scarcely used TikTok. It's at No Creds REQ. Facebook.com/No Creds REQ. YouTube.com/at No Creds REQ. And if you're watching on the replay on Rumble and on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, thank you for watching. Here's a reminder to like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our social media channels down below. On the podcast side, please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, the soon-to-be-departed Google Play, wherever you podcast. Rate and review. 5 stars would be the preferred rating that you can leave as a rating. And if you're on a platform where you can review, we'll even read it on the air. Couple programming notes before we go. I just want to mention, on Saturday morning, we will not have a Saturday brunch because we will be part of the Belly Up Sports Super Bowl show, which will take place at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It will be a live show on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. So both Dustin and I will be on there. It's going to be a fun time. There's other Belly Up celebrities, other Belly Up personalities like friend of the show, Jared. He'll be on there. Kev from Tailgate on the Quad will be with us as well. I'm trying to think who else is going to be with us. I believe Brad, friend of the show from the 1420 Sports Podcast, will also be a part of this show. So tune in 9:30 Eastern on Saturday morning. It's gonna be a blast. I think we'll have fun, and we will have a show on Tuesday, next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, which will be our post Super Bowl review, and we won't have a show next Saturday, the 17th, because I will be going to my metabolic physician appointment in Suffern. So it'll be a couple weeks before we have another Saturday brunch episode, but just pay attention to the socials. We'll let you know when the next Saturday brunch will be. But join us on Saturday on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel for the Belly Up Super Bowl Super Show. And then join us on Tuesday on our channel, which will be the post-mortem for the Super Bowl. Thanks for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We're presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Join us then. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody.